Everyone, hello, welcome back to Forever United TV, another Manchester United live show, updating you on everything going on with the club on and off the pitch. And it is on the pitch where we're starting, because that apparently is going to affect off the pitch. We're talking the goalkeeper situation and a major development today with the news around ONANA. What we're talking about here is the potential of somebody else stepping in because of an injury. You've probably seen the news before. If you haven't, I'll bring you all of the details on what has happened today and what news has been broken. Update on MBEUMO as well. Another Manchester United striker target going to a Premier League rival. We'll update you on that one as well. We're going to talk about everything that's going on with Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford. Two more updates on them today as well. We're going to talk about them Victor Osimhen and Rodrigo reports as well, so stay tuned for them coming in as well at the back end of the show. Updating you on absolutely everything going on, along with all of your comments and thoughts in on the show as well, everybody. Hello, hope you're having a good day. I've spoken to my mum earlier on. Obviously, we're over in Greece. It is baking in England and everyone is struggling by the sounds of it. So hope you're okay. Stay hydrated, grab yourself a beer and get comfortable for the show. Put the aircon, no, we don't have aircon in England, do we? Because we never have hot days, but hey, open a window, crack open a beer, get yourself comfortable and enjoy the show, everyone. Anyway, there's nothing else on anyway, is there? Forget about Wimbledon, bobbins. I wouldn't want to be one of them players actually playing today in this heat. My God. Anyway, into Manchester United and what's actually happening. ONANA, we're starting there because if you didn't keep up to date with the news earlier on, or you were just trying to find some shade and get away from the sun, we had the breaking news from Mike McGrath, and now everybody has piled in on it, obviously, as well after it was broken, that ONANA has got a hamstring injury and could be out for 4 to 6 weeks, which initially in the report said that he would then miss the entirety of the US tour. The tour doesn't even last that long. So really, 4 to 6 weeks, I don't think there's any need to risk ONANA at all in this at all. And I'm talking here about a goalkeeper that I really don't like. By the way, in terms of the setback in the title that I've put, it's not a setback in my eyes. It's a setback for Manchester United because they're not showing any signs of moving ONANA on. So I've not really got a problem with this. It gives someone else a chance. I never want a player to get injured. I never want to pile in on a player while he's injured or make fun of it or anything like that. So I'm not going to do that, even though I don't like ONANA. I just think it gives another goalkeeper an opportunity. But then more reports have come out this afternoon talking about it's not that bad. The first reports are positive. And it just takes me back. I had flashbacks to that moment when he went to AFCON a couple of seasons ago. And United were hell-bent on getting him there on a private jet and getting him back in time to play for Manchester United. I was like, just let him go and play for his country. We've got cover. We don't need to rush him back. And they're talking about now sending him out on the American tour still, just so they can assess him. Hopefully he gets out there and gets some... just let him recover from a hamstring injury. There's no need and there's no panic for bringing him back into the side. But there just seems to be a big clamour at this football club around ONANA. Whenever he's out, get him back as quickly as possible. I don't get it. It's a weird one, but... the initial thoughts on this and the grade of the tear and whatever they've looked into so far apparently are not that bad, but still, he is going to be missing for, I would think, the majority of the tour anyway. There's only 3 games, so I don't think Manchester United are going to be, I don't think they would rush him back. Plus, it's a great opportunity for someone like Vitek to come in as well now, who is obviously going to be rejoining Manchester United's training squad this summer for pre-season. He will be a big part of the tour. And Mike McGrath, who broke this from the Telegraph first of all, has actually been talking about the fact that Vitek now is favourite to get a chance back between the sticks in pre-season. On top of that, though, there is actually stories around John Victor, the Botafogo goalkeeper from Brazil, and Manchester United. Obviously, we've been reportedly in for him before, but before this news was broke, there was a lot of stories going around about Manchester United preparing a bid for John Victor, and now more Brazilian reports have come out on top of that. I think it's all gathered momentum simply because ONANA is out now. Obviously, United are not going to sell him. I don't have a chance of selling him, so no other goalkeeper of any significance with any value is going to be brought into Manchester United because, of course, we need to sell ONANA to bring another goalkeeper in. So it's gone down the road now automatically of what I thought it would do anyway, which is a number 2 coming in, because we know that United are looking to move Bayindir on, and Tom Heaton assigned as the 3rd choice goalkeeper. So that's where we're at with Heaton. He's in. Bayindir will be sold. it's quite a few people in for Baindir at the moment. And obviously, time through the window and through this pre-season, I think we're going to be looking at Baindir leaving Manchester United. So we're looking at a number 2 type of goalkeeper. And John Victor is seen as that. It's $8 million, so this is going to come in around about 6 million quid for Manchester United. That's his release clause. So a chance for United to get a goalkeeper in who is going to come in and probably feature quite a bit at the start if this injury does turn out to be the 6-week version that we're looking at here, because then obviously Onana's got to get back and get fit and get in the side. But it gives Ruben Amorim a brilliant opportunity now not to have to force to play Andre Onana because he's part of the squad. And again, I'll just make the point clear on this. I'm not saying this because I don't like Andre Onana. I really don't like him. But I'm not saying this is in a way that I'm happy about this, that he's not going to get a chance. I don't like players getting injured. I wouldn't wish anyone ill with an injury or anything like that. But it's the chance now for Vitek to make his mark. He's had a good season away in Austria last season. He's come back. He's got another year experience under his belt. He's an absolute beast of a guy as well. He's about 6'5". I mean, he's taller than me. I've stood next to him near enough in a queue in an airport last summer. I was making a joke about seeing Baindir at the airport before we flew out here to Greece. And then last year, we seen Vitek with his girlfriend last summer going over to the Dominican. So yeah, he is a beast of a goalkeeper, about 6'5", absolute unit. Like I said, it's a great season, but I think it's a decision now for Manchester United to make. They've got a few options open, and it's kind of fallen nicely for them. Not in the way that they've got a player injured, but now a decision I think can be made. It's like, right, okay, no one's going to come in for Andre Onana. Done, finished. Now let's look for a number 2. And John Victor, I think, is probably the most favourite goalkeeper right now. In the same report, Mike McGrath said that although Manchester United would be interested in a move for Emi Martinez, there is no communication between Aston Villa and Manchester United at this point. The last that they left it was they was far apart in valuation. We always thought that this was going to be something that would scup off any move for Emi Martinez. Whatever Villa wanted, and since they've sold the women's team and cleared financial fair play regulations with that move, they've never really been forced into, like they was before, selling players. And that's why the price of Ollie Watkins is what it is, and that's why Villa will probably charge somebody 40 million to take Emi Martinez away, who has got another 3 years left on his contract. I think Emi Martinez at this point is completely dead, and we're looking at someone like Victor and maybe Vitek stepping forward. Look, both capable goalkeepers, and to be honest, I'm not going to talk about Victor. I've not seen him play enough, so I can't judge him. But I would rather have Vitek in goal than Andre Onana next season, and I think that's an improvement. I really do. I think he's a better goalkeeper. Obviously, time will tell. Playing at the highest level and the pressure that he's never had before, whether that makes him crumble, because that does happen. We can say that he's better on paper, but really, my opinion on Vitek is null and void until he actually turns out for Manchester United in the first team. And obviously, a point will be proven then, won't it, if he can handle it or not. So we'll see what happens with him. But the reports on Victor, I can see this actually happening. Manchester United have contacted the representation of Victor. So I think we are going to see movement in this. And I think this could actually just push Manchester United in that direction, because we need, obviously, another number 2 if we are selling Baindir. And now that Onana's not being sold, decision there. And I think everybody knows that United were going to get a goalkeeper anyway this summer. So I think that's pretty much made the club's mind up, and that's where they will be going with this now going forward. So yeah, really interesting how this is going to now affect what we do. But I think it's Vitek in over pre-season and see if we can get a deal done for John Victor. I think that's where we're at with the goalkeeping situation. Going to get into the comments on this now. Adam, there are goalkeepers out there that in their early to mid 20s with experience going for 10 to 20 million out there. They could come in and hopefully replace Onana. I just don't think United are going to spend more than 10 million on a keeper. It's a keeper in the realms of what we paid for Baindir. United will have a price for their number 2 goalkeeper that they will not go over. And this is why Victor has been brought up. We're not going to spend anything over 10 million on a goalkeeper, I don't think. Particularly if he's going to be a number 2 and they can't get rid of Onana. I think Onana's gone next window, to be honest. I don't mean January. Oh, maybe January, actually. You never know. But Andre Onana, I don't think is going anywhere, probably until next summer. 3 years into his 4-year contract, I think that then is most of that transfer paid for, and obviously only 1 year of severance to sort out on his contract to get rid of him as well. So I think that is probably where we're probably realistically looking for Andre right now. But still, anything is possible. Anything is possible. More comments coming in. Botafogo have a good run because of John Victor. He has performed well. Yes, the Club World Cup is all I've seen of him. So I can't say anything else regarding him. I don't watch the Brazilian league, so I've got no info. I'm just watching and catching up with all of the clips and everything like everybody else with John Victor. But again, this is something that we've already said before, that it's good that Manchester United are looking further afield. They're widening the net to try and find the right type of players. Obviously, we're looking at the potential of, like we said, Richard Rios. We've got Diego Leon in. We were looking at Mastantuono. We're going to get John Victor, spreading everywhere, all over South America. So I think it's good that we have actually looked into the South American market finally, and we have got a team that is willing to do it. So that's important also. Shahil says, we should run a campaign to remove these owners. It should be a priority position 1, is that? Everything else will fall into place when they are gone. I think you're supposed to say there, mate. Never going to happen, mate. People have tried it and no one can really be bothered. Whenever the cry has been out there for people to actually stand up, no one has done it. So it's never going to happen, mate. Except that these are our owners, and until Ineos get full power from the Glazers, not much will change, because Ineos are the ones that are probably looking later down the line, years down the line, to possibly sell for absolute fortunes. That's why they're the ones pushing the stadium. So nothing will change until Ineos have full power themselves, and then maybe later down the line, you might see some movement with Manchester United's ownership model then, and maybe both Ineos and the Glazers are gone in another 10 years. I don't know, I'm guessing at that as well, but I don't expect any movement with what's happening right now with the ownership model. It's never going to come about, trust me on that one. Moving on, anyway, more news. Mike McGrath, who broke the news on Andre ONANA, has actually come out also and said that Manchester United are going to have a new player in their ranks this week. Well, he kind of covered his tracks with everything he said regarding Bryan Mbeumo, but he did say it's expected that Manchester United will make a breakthrough in negotiations this week, and Bryan Mbeumo will be in Manchester this coming week now. So the week coming up after this weekend, basically, is what he's saying. Well done with that. Very good journalist work there, Mike McGrath, in saying it's expected a breakthrough will happen, and Manchester United are expecting him in this week because Bryan Mbeumo is coming back from his pre-season holiday on Monday. Yeah, covering yourself by saying expected, so you can go back on it when he doesn't turn up. I fully expect Bryan Mbeumo to be in a Brentford training kit on Monday, because nothing has happened. We've heard nothing at all. So this report on Bryan Mbeumo coming in this week, it's the same as all of the other reports. I'm not going to build it up and make it into something that it's not, because it's not. He's nowhere near coming to Manchester United from what we've spoken about already this week. It's just the same as what it was before. So no, Bryan Mbeumo isn't close to joining Manchester United, or say that wrong, isn't any closer to joining Manchester United than he was yesterday. There is nothing in the news there, or nothing that Mike McGrath has spoken about that says that Bryan Mbeumo is going to be playing for training with Manchester United this week. They are expecting him in before the tour for America, which is this week. It's kind of basically hedged his bets a little bit there, hasn't he? He is well and truly sat on the fence with that comment there. But yes, this week now is the last week of pre-season training before Manchester United start playing games. We play Leeds next Saturday, and then a couple of days later we fly out to the States to play Everton, West Ham and Bournemouth in the Premier Cup, I think it's called, something like that. Probably in ridiculous heat and conditions like we've seen in the Club World Cup. So if Bryan Mbeumo is going to happen, it's probably going to happen this week if he is going to be on the tour. They put 2 and 2 together and made up a story, and yeah, it's a load of crap, basically. That's how I see it anyway. You can tell right now where I'm at with this Bryan Mbeumo deal. I'm not going to believe anything that isn't significant that we've not already heard. Expected breakthrough in negotiations. Okay. Right, that's good. That's definitely a different story than what we've already heard, isn't it? Honestly, anything to sell a paper on a Sunday, my God, that's all that is. And don't forget, the Sunday papers and the Sunday journalists do have a few more juicier stories usually every single week. So could be an interesting one tomorrow morning for us when we do the show. So stay tuned for that anyway. But as far as Bryan MBEUMO is concerned right now, he's still waiting. There is no breakthrough, and it's another week gone, near enough tomorrow. So unless something happens, which we've never had any news or updates on Bryan MBEUMO since the 2nd of June when it was announced by Ornstein on a weekend. It's never happened. It's always been in the week. So through Saturday now, let's see what happens tomorrow, which will be nothing. And then we move on to Monday. He's back in the country. I think he'll be back down in London and he'll be pre-season training with Brentford because they've already said they're going to bring him back and there's no problem in him coming back to Brentford. The relationship is good. There's never been any problem. Communication has been excellent between Bryan MBEUMO's representatives and Brentford themselves. And there is no chance that there is going to be any animosity at all. Everyone was hoping that this extra week was going to give Bryan MBEUMO the opportunity, or Manchester United and Brentford, sorry, the opportunity to get the Bryan MBEUMO saga over. Mike McGrath is saying it's going to be over, but I think there's about 8 other journalists that are predicting or guessing that this deal is going to be over the line now this week. It's complete and utter bollocks. It's just the same as what it was before. So nothing to get excited about. I'm just going to tell you it straight, that's all. Sorry if you was hoping that it was something more juicy to get you to get into there regarding this deal, but there isn't at the moment. There just isn't. So no, when it comes to Bryan MBEUMO at the moment, it's still the same. In terms of ONANA, like we've just said then, expected to be more around the 4-week mark rather than the 6-week mark. So I think he will be fit for the start of the season, but we're hoping that we're going to see someone else in between the sticks that really proves to Ruben Amorim that there is another option besides Andre ONANA at the start of this season. I think that's important for a lot of the fan base as well. So let's just see. Let's get some more comments in on this one as well. Knowing United, they will use Luke Shaw as a keeper to save money. No, I don't think you'd even trust Luke Shaw in that position with his injury record. If there's one player that was going to get an injury being in goal, it would be Luke Shaw. Fully fit, by the way. Luke Shaw ready for the season. So, yeah, let's see how that actually develops. Right, okay, we need to move on to other news. We've got quite a lot to get through at the moment. So that's their goalkeeper situation and MBEUMO done. Juventus still talking to Manchester United, according to Damasio. We are expecting a Fabrizio Romano update on that, hopefully today, in fact. So we'll see where this is. This morning, I read the story out about the bid from Juventus, which worked out approximately 12 million with the add-ons, the extras. And that's what Damasio was reporting this morning. Now, Damasio has come out again and said that Juventus are now pushing this move. Now, Damasio has said something similar to what Romano has already, that Conceição is more important. It's looking like they want both players cheap, basically. They've lowballed the Conceição bid and offer. That's been rejected. And now we are looking at the lowball offer that we heard about this morning, which I don't know if it's genuine. I don't know if it's real. I'll wait for it to be confirmed before I say it is. I said again, and I'll say it now. I said it again this morning, and I'll say it again now, sorry. I believe that sort of pricing is genuine when it comes to Jadon Sancho, because no one's going to take a risk on him and they need to cover his wages. We found out off Ben Jacobs that he's turned down 180 grand a week to stay at Chelsea. So realistically, Jadon isn't going to be cheap on the wages. So the only way that this happens is if United come down in transfer fee price to balance the books for the club buying Jadon. So they can pretty much subsidise that with his wages and afford him. Talks are ongoing now, and apparently Juventus are pushing it now, according to Damasio. He has said before that they weren't that fussed about him and they were more bothered about Conceição. Maybe they've looked at Conceição after being knocked back and gone, maybe we should go for Jadon. I've got no idea. I'm guessing from the reports that have come out. But from what I read, I think they want both. They're getting rid of certain players and they want both of these players in and they want them cheap. I think their aim is to try and get both in for less than 30 million. Which is some ask, because United are asking for 25 million apparently. A lot of people ran the story this morning. I don't know if they were watching my show, but they were talking about the bid and what happened and what we should accept. And a lot of people have said that Manchester United have already reacted to this. They haven't. And what they're saying is Manchester United's stance on negotiating, and what Omar Barada has said months ago about Manchester United standing their ground and negotiating. If we're negotiating and nothing has happened, it means we're trying to get a better deal, and it's not the worst. It's not the worst scenario in the world if the deal hasn't been done and it's dragging on, because we could be getting a better deal out of it. That's all that he said. And people have used that in the Jadon Sancho situation to try and write a report up on Manchester United reacting to it. It's a fair price for Jadon Sancho, in my opinion, but everyone's got their own on it. Some people might think that we could get a bit more. I think we will get a bit more. I think United will want a bit more as well from it. So, yes, that is where we're at with Jadon Sancho at the moment. In terms of the actual transfer itself, we are close in terms of what we're talking about. Now, quickly, just going back, Mike Critchley from The Athletic has been talking about the goalkeeping situation. This has just come across to me now. Manchester United's goalkeeper situation has taken a hit with ONANA's injury, and with Bayindir failing to make a strong impression as backup, the club is actively pursuing alternatives, with John Victor emerging as a potential target. So the John Victor side of things, just to go back on that quickly, because we do know that Manchester United are looking, and we talked about it already on the show. The Athletic pretty much confirming there, that's all I wanted to say, that we are moving ahead with potential targets, and we will be bringing a goalkeeper in. I think this is it, where we're at right now. So, yes, we will be actively looking for a keeper, and Victor is one of them keepers. So, let's move on to the next story again, which is Marcus Rashford, and an update on him coming out from Spain, which reads, Rashford, positive talks again with Barcelona. The agent Arturo Canales is running this. This is seen over in Barcelona, apparently, according to these reports, as a more feasible transfer to get done, a transaction to complete, compared to the likes of Luis Diaz, for instance, at Liverpool. So Barcelona, again, and more stories going in on this to say that this is now Barca's top priority when it comes to a forward coming in. There has been some reports going around that they might be looking at Lookman from Atalanta also. If they go for him, 50 million euros, I think you can forget about Marcus Rashford moving, to be honest. I do believe that we are in a position now where it is hopefully the last resort for Barcelona, and they can really put all of their energy into Marcus Rashford. But it is in good hands, apparently, according to these reports, with Canales taking over this. And hopefully, like we've heard before, Diaz going to Bayern Munich, transfer request handed in at Liverpool, wanting to make that move. I think we're in a position now where we could actually see some movement on Barcelona's side next. I think that's what every Man United fan is praying for at the moment. We are hoping that these reports are true, and we are going to see Barcelona really show what their plan is for this summer. And if they really are genuine, if they're really genuinely in for Marcus Rashford, they've been not back for Nico Williams now, not back for Luis Diaz. It's time to see what happens with Marcus Rashford. So they're the Rashford and your Jadon Sancho update, everybody. Get into the chat and talk to me about this and where you see this going. Touch on what we did this morning with Jadon Sancho. We've already had a low ball offer in, apparently, with Damasio, as reported. He's come back out later today and said that Manchester United and Juventus are back in talks again, though. So again, it's more talks, not fully convinced by this transfer moving anywhere near what Manchester United want, but the communications keep going, and it's definitely not dead. That's what you can say from that. We're waiting for the first significant update on the Marcus Rashford situation, and I think it's going to be, hopefully, this next week, and we don't have to come back from pre-season, from the pre-season tour, and Rashford is still there hanging around Carrington. Hey boys, just as everyone turns back up, we're still here, waving at all of the players coming back into Carrington. Rashford's still there. Hopefully there's movement. I think United's plan is that these players have actually found the club by the time that they come back in the first week in August from the pre-season tour. That's the hope, I think, from the football club anyway. So we'll see if that comes about. We'll see if there is anything, if anything is happening there with that one. But let's see what else we've got in the comments section now with this. I hope Vitek gets a chance and smashes it and doesn't flop like Bayndare. It would greatly improve our goalkeeping situation, says Andrew. Victor says we're letting almost 9 players leave and has bought only 1 because Leon might not go straight into the first team. 9 players leave. Should we break them 9 players down? Are we scaremongering a little bit there? 9 players. Victor Lindelof doesn't really feature. Evans doesn't feature at all. Ericsson hardly got in. Legs have gone. Sancho, Rashford, Antony not even playing for us and gone. Garnacho slapped ass. And Malacia not even playing for us. So you could say half of them, mate, haven't even featured anyway. You're probably scraping the barrel in saying that Victor Lindelof and Christian Eriksen were first team players that have left. So you could say, from what we finished last season with, 2. Yeah, Garnacho makes it 3. So we're losing 3 players. We have brought in Matthias Cunha. We're close to bringing in Brian MBEUMO, obviously. So in terms of the players leaving, Victor, and what's actually coming in, I don't really think that that's the case. You could say it in numbers and on paper, yes, but we all know that the majority of them players that we're talking about there, over half of them on them 8 players that are no longer with United, or not featuring for United, we should say, haven't really paid their dues, haven't really featured at all. So they're not relevant. They're really not. We like depth, man, come on. Do we? Not in defence, we don't. I don't think so. Midfield, yes, and striker, yes. I think they're the 2 positions that United are looking to strengthen, though. So let's see if we can get something done with that. Adam, when United gets money from the previous sales, do they get all of the money straight away, or is it paid over time in instalments? You mean the sell-on clauses, I think there, Billy. No, I think sell-on clauses come straight in, as far as I know. Could be wrong on that, but the minimal fees that United have taken from Alvaro, Alanga and Odyele, because we are not that selling club, and part of that contract was that we received that money up front when the players are sold. I think we get that money straight in. So that is massive for Manchester United. 21 million so far we've made from player sales, if you include Sancho's penalty fee from Chelsea. So not bad, considering we've sold nobody yet. And of course, people are also forgetting the tour as well. The 8 to 9 million we made on the tour, which take up our money that we've brought in this far this summer to 30 million. So not bad at all. Sorry I'm late, says London. No problem at all, mate. I've changed the time again today. It's just mixing it up while I'm away, that's all. And it's a Saturday, so I don't know if you all have plans going out tonight drinking in the sun. So let's get the news out of the way so everyone can enjoy their evenings. And then hopefully you can chill out later on. Like I said, if anything does change, I will be back and I will bring you an update anyway later on. If anything does change, I'm always here, so don't worry about that, everybody. Should make a rash Sancho etc. train at the cliff out of the way. Yeah, to be honest though, I don't want him getting involved in any of Manchester United's younger academy or anything like that. So I don't know. I prefer him being at Carrington and isolated to their own little naughty corner of Carrington. I think that's probably best. And you know what? Actually, letting them players get a taste of what these Manchester United current players are going to be getting with the new facilities and everything like that. A taste of what they're going to be missing. I think that might actually do them well also, Glenn. But yes, 5 gifted memberships from the man himself, London, absolute legend. Thank you for that, buddy. Really impressed with that, mate. Appreciated massively, mate. Thank you so much. Make sure that you do thank London in the chat if you have received one of them memberships. We have had a poll running as well, everybody, from the start of the show. We've had over 1,200 votes on that poll. So if you haven't voted on it already, please do get involved. Should United go for John Victor, trust Andre Onana, give Vitek a chance? The majority of you, 65% in fact so far from the 1,200, nearly 1,300 now in fact, have said go and get John Victor, sorry. Then followed, not closely, but on 31%, you've got give Vitek a chance, give Vitek a chance, and 5% of you trust Andre Onana to be fit and ready to go for the start of the season. That there tells you everything. The fact that Manchester United's goalkeeper is injured, and all of social media that I've seen so far absolutely delighted by it, should be telling the Manchester United hierarchy exactly what's necessary and what everybody thinks of the goalkeeper at the moment. We all know that he will let Ruben down. I think there's only one man here that can change it, and that's Ruben Amorim, because he knows United cannot sell him because no one wants him. It's up to him to demand another goalkeeper to come in, which we're hopefully getting in John Victor. And he's got Vitek there as well to use now. It's a perfect opportunity. So if Andre Onana starts next season, I am actively going to blame Ruben Amorim solely for that. And now you can say that I'm being a bit harsh there. You can say that I'm being a bit too tough on Ruben because the board haven't got him the goalkeepers. United haven't got any other options. Blah, blah, blah. I get that, but he has got a chance here. He's got Vitek there. And of course, if he wants a goalkeeper, they will go out and get him a number 2. Just to be seen to be doing something. We need a number 2. So he can change things up at Manchester United, in Manchester United's goalkeeping area. 100% Ruben Amorim can do that. So that's going to be on him for me. He's the one in charge of that. And there are other options out there. I don't think anybody's expecting Manchester United to go out and get a top-class goalkeeper now. But we can definitely get an adequate number 2 who is probably already better than Andre Onana. Shameful, isn't it? How you could actually say that we're going to go and bring in Vitek, who is better than 45 million Andre Onana, and we've got Chido, who's 17 and not fully developed, who's better than 75 million Rasmus Højlund. That, again, that window coming back to bite us on the arse. Like, see, everyone who was bought 2 years ago in that transfer window, Baindy, Onana, Mason Mount, Rasmus Højlund, we're looking to replace this summer, 2 years down the line. That tells you how poor that window was and how bad the recruitment was in that transfer window. Because we've got MBEUMO, we've not got MBEUMO, steady on. We've got Cunha, we're looking for MBEUMO, so Mason Mount's position, well and truly pushing him back there. Obviously, we're looking for another goalkeeper because we know Andre Onana is not good enough. And we are crying out and doing everything we possibly can to get another striker. So, yeah. Again, the problems from yesteryear coming back to haunt Manchester United. Absolutely shocking how we spent nearly 200 million in a transfer window 2 years ago, and all of them players now are looking to be replaced. Shocking, absolutely shocking. That's Manchester United, and that's why we are financially knackered. Oh, by the way, we were in the Champions League that season as well, and we blew that with them players in the squad. We didn't even get out the group stage. Again, shocking. That's what Manchester United are. Anyway, moving on to the other news and everything else that's going on. Manchester United's targets for up front, we just mentioned them there. It looks like, I mean, differing reports actually on Gyökeres. Ojogo, the publication over in Portugal, are saying that it's on the verge of breakdown, the Arsenal and Gyökeres situation. But then there's a few other accounts flying around, the majority of them obviously London-based, saying that Gyökeres is expected into London this week to have his medical, and this deal is done. So you could say that Gyökeres is gone. Obviously, we're looking at the potential elsewhere. We have contacted Frankfurt regarding Ekitike. Liverpool have a massive interest in him, but need to move Darwin Núñez on. But that has stalled a little bit with Napoli and their bid for Núñez failing. So maybe they're going to walk away from that and hold Liverpool up. But now Newcastle have made a move, and they're looking to bring Ekitike in as well. Interesting if they go for Ekitike with already having Isaac, because I don't see where Ekitike would play if Isaac's in that team. Then again, squad depth is big, but the reports coming from the journalist in Newcastle are that Newcastle now have made a concrete efforts or talks, concrete talks. That's the common phrase, isn't it? It's concrete. Everything's concrete. It's cemented in. They're definite. It's not going anywhere. But honestly, again, I just didn't expect Manchester United. We can afford Ekitike, but I just don't think we're going to go big. And them words still ringing in my head from Fabrizio Romano. Manchester United will not spend a fortune on a striker this window. Ekitike now looks like he's on his way to Newcastle, and that deal, with Liverpool obviously fighting for him as well, pushes Manchester United way back. And I think we can say bye-bye to both Gyökeres and Ekitike now. Running out of options fast. Now, there is all, get this, there is also another report going around tonight, And I'm going to shut it down straight away. But apparently Manchester United have opened talks again with Victor Osimhen. Now, actually, just going straight into the chat right now, tell me, would you believe any story that came out that Manchester United were actually interested in Victor Osimhen? Would anyone believe that story in the chat that's in with us right now? I don't think there is anybody at all that would believe that story, but that is going around. Some people are actually believing in it as well. Some people actually think that Victor Osimhen is still wanted by Manchester United, and we are going to pay that ridiculous wage that he wants. We're not. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. And I just don't see a world in where Manchester United, with everything that we are trying to save on Bryan Mbeumo, why would we go and spend 75 million euros on Victor Osimhen right now when he wants over 300 grand a week wages? Again, I feel like I'm repeating myself constantly with this, but this story is actually doing the rounds again. I cannot believe it. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. United will go and look for a striker after we get MBEUMO done, or if we don't get MBEUMO done. Osimhen will never come to Manchester United. The deal died well over a month ago when the news came out that Manchester United were not willing to pay the structured contract that Osimhen wanted. We asked him to drop his wage demands apparently, and he didn't. That was it. United were done. And everyone linking Osimhen to Manchester United now is desperate to try and get a story or get some clicks, or sell some. I don't know. Fill an article, fill some pages, or sell some newspaper or magazine or whatever it is. I honestly, again, staggered how journalists are still talking about Victor Osimhen as an option for Manchester United. Do you not listen to what Fabrizio Romano actually said? Like when he said that Manchester United will definitely not spend big on a striker. Now, there is another report, and this I could see being more realistic because Jean-Philippe Mateta has not signed a new contract yet at Crystal Palace. Palace demoted to the Conference League. Gutted. You win the FA Cup and you get demoted to the Conference League because of the absolute balls up from their ownership model, dual ownership situation that's going on. Absolutely criminal how that has happened to Crystal Palace, but it has. And it could open up an opportunity. I'm not going to say that Jean-Philippe Mateta is going to turn down playing in the Conference League for Palace. He loves Palace, but he's not signed that new deal. He's got 1 year left on his contract still. Now, that's going to get interesting, and there is a report going around that Manchester United, not in a significant way, but have actually opened talks again with Mateta. Not so much, sorry, I keep saying it wrong. They have touched base with what is happening with the deal, and I think that there is a genuine interest in Mateta, and I think this was always going to come back and be a story for Manchester United as long as he didn't sign a new contract with Palace, which he hasn't done. So United have actually touched base again, and we are now in a position where obviously Ekitike gone, like I said, you're not getting Osimhen, Gyökeres is gone, obviously you're looking at Delap gone, all of these strikers. Now we are talking about the likes of Vlahovic on a free transfer if his contract's terminated. We're talking about all the free agents. Honestly, again, it comes up to that conversation that was had on the podcast and Andy Mitten when he said, you are not going to see a transfer window where Manchester United bring in players that are potential or are not ready to go. It's going to be, you come in and you hit the ground running. They're the only players that United are going to buy. They're not going to waste their time, even if there are clear signs that it is a cheap deal and it is affordable for United. Look, the only one I think that might sneak in at some point in this window is Dusan Vlahovic. That's the only player I could see Manchester United moving off course for in terms of the Premier League experience factor. If he gets his contract terminated, he's willing to drop his wages by half apparently. If that is true as well, I think United would go for that at the age that he is, not costing them anything, because he would actually be worth money for us in 3 years' time. And United would look at that as an investment. Another striker in who adds a bit of depth for us, who is going to bring Manchester United money anyway in 3 years, if we sell him on. because he's not cost us anything. I think United would go for that reason, and I think Ineos would look at that as a bargain, and they would bring someone in, I think, who wasn't going to cost them immediately right now, just to bring the body in to help Ruben Amorim. So what we're saying here, I think, is right now, I think we're looking at the potential of Mateta later in the window, developments, maybe contract not being signed. If it isn't signed this summer before we start the season, then you're always dicing with death there a little bit, with him being then able to talk to foreign clubs in January and pre-contract agreements being made. Obviously, he can't speak to a Premier League club, but there is obviously movement there, and United might go back in for Mateta, is what's being said. So let's see how that develops. Nothing definite on that one yet, but I know that pleases a lot of people in the chat actually as well, because a lot have been saying go out and get Mateta. I remember talking about Jean-Philippe Mateta in season, going into like April and May, and people were laughing this deal off completely. Look where we are now. I think everybody would jump at the chance to get Jean-Philippe Mateta in Manchester United's team right now. And I think that's the reality again, like I was saying this morning, of where United are at. The window that they wanted hasn't materialised, and we are down to plan B, C and Ds now. It's as simple as that. Unfortunately for us, it's going to be a tough old slog all the way till the 1st of September. And I don't think Manchester United are going to be able to get these targets that our rivals are going for. The likes of Gyökeres, Ekitike, we've found out already in 3 different strikers. A 4th of Osimhen goes to Galatasaray. That Champions League football has cost Manchester United massively this transfer window. Whether we thought Ruben and what he was saying was going to be true or not, that we can buy players, being in the Champions League is still not a massive deal for Manchester United. We can still bring players in. I think that's been met with a big fat, you were wrong, because players are going to Champions League clubs. Manchester United's pull isn't the same anymore. In terms of ridiculous stories as well, actually quickly, before we do, please like the video, everybody. Everyone who has done already, thank you very much. If you haven't, please put a thumbs up on the video. Let's see if we can get up near that 500 mark. That would be fantastic. And of course, hit that subscribe button. I think we are about 60 something, maybe 50 away from actually hitting 90,000 subscribers. So it literally is that close. It would be great to make it while we was actually away here. So hopefully we can get there by the end of today, maybe tomorrow, and celebrate 90,000 before I fly back home on Monday. That would be fantastic. So if you haven't already and you're loving the content, stick a thumbs up on the video, of course, and hit the subscribe button, everybody. It helps the channel massively, and we are moving forward to that 90k target before the start of the season. It'd be absolutely massive for us. So thank you again if you have already. Last story of the day is the story that you've probably seen on social media. And again, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to shut it down. Rodrigo is never in a million years going to be a Manchester United player. Never. The story has come about, I don't even know who the journalist is, but he says Manchester United are still looking for more wingers. We don't play wingers, so there goes that argument. And no, we're not going to buy Cunha and MBEUMO and then spend more money on a winger when we need a striker, a midfielder, a wing back, possibly a centre back if you listen to some of the reports, and the goalkeeper. No. And apparently we're admirers of Rodrigo at Real Madrid, and the board have this idea in the head that he is the ideal player for Manchester United. Again, it's like asking Omar Barada, do you think Manchester United can win the league in 3 years? Ask him, do you think Manchester United would be a better team with Rodrigo in it? Yes. Ask him again, do you think Manchester United could afford Rodrigo? The answer to that is no. And the one thing that you do have to look at here is Manchester United are skimping and scraping up between 60 and 65 million for Bryan MBEUMO. Do you really think they're going to spend 100 million on a Rodrigo? And then to add on top of that, just to absolutely nail this coffin shut on this deal completely, you've got Sir Jim Radcliffe coming out saying in his first ever interview for Manchester United as co-owner, we're not going to buy Kylian Mbappe, we're going to find the next Mbappe. We're not going to buy anybody for 100 million. So again, that can go with the Osimhen story in the absolute absurd and ridiculous column. Never in a million years. Sorry, I know I'm bursting bubbles there. Some people actually were excited about this. All the Manchester United aggregator accounts have been running this as well this afternoon. I'm just going to shut it down. And I think most of you in the chat would laugh it off as well right now, knowing what's happened so far this transfer window. United are never in a million years going to ever be in for Rodrigo from Real Madrid. If we were up where Chelsea, Liverpool, City and Arsenal were all in the league and competing at the highest level, maybe, yeah. There was a story that Man United had put a £78 million bid down for Tchouaméni as well. I've not even brought the story up. I thought it was that ridiculous. Never. Why would one of the best midfielders, one of the most versatile midfielders on the planet who can play centre-back and centre midfield, well, he's still in the reckoning at Real Madrid, want to come to Manchester United? Same with Rodrigo. Like, yes, I could see it if it was a Champions League club in the Premier League bidding for him, but we're not in the Champions League. Sorry to say it, everybody. You're not getting Osimhen. You're not getting Rodrigo. We're not getting ENQUIRIES. We're not getting Ekitike. Manchester United are thinking outside of the box. You're going to be looking at the Vlahovics and Matetas of this world after we get MBEUMO done, hopefully. So to finish on a high, I'm just going to go back to what Mike McGrath said, even though he was literally sitting on the fence by saying that this week it's expected that Manchester United will make a breakthrough for Bryan MBEUMO with the talks with Brentford. And he's going to be a Manchester United player this week because, yeah, we want to get him in the squad before we start the US tour. Get your comments in on that as well, please, everybody. Also, get your comments in on ONANA. Should we be replacing him with another goalkeeper, i.e. a number 2 that is good enough, cheap enough, and can challenge him? He's going to miss the majority of pre-season with a hamstring injury. That news broke earlier on today as well. We had a poll running throughout the show tonight. The question was, should United go get John Victor, trust ONANA, or give Vitek a chance as well? Give Vitek a chance in goal. 4% of you have gone with trust ONANA. Nearly 1,800 votes have said that as well. If United are watching, you only have to look at social media today and the reaction to ONANA being injured, and then polls like this, when you've got 4% of them saying you want to trust in ONANA going forward. Trusting ONANA when he's fit is one thing. Trusting ONANA when he's coming back from injury, that's somewhere you don't really want to be going, isn't it? Also, Vitek, 30% of you have said you would give him a chance. I agree with that. I want to see him in pre-season now. 66% of you, though, have said you would go out and get John Victor. Maybe that is simply because you're dying for Manchester United to make a signing. Is Victor good enough? Again, it's that unproven Premier League factor. In the goalkeeping side of things, I think that's going to be difficult to find now. But Emi Martinez is well and truly off, just to add in on that as well. I think that's been made clear by the price that Aston Villa want for him. So, that is all the show, everybody. Get your comments in. Loads to get through there. ONANA, the goalkeepers, Bryan MBEUMO, where we're at with that. Obviously, Rashford and Sancho, no Ekitike, another striker gone. Manchester United are not going to buy Osimhen. They're not going to buy Rodrigo. Get into the comments section when the video's finished. It's live, everybody. Thank you again. Mods, fantastic job. Go and enjoy your Saturday evenings, everybody. Pop your comments in while you're walking around, and I will catch up with them later. Please, please, please pop a like on the video before we finish. That'll take us up to that 500 mark. And of course, make sure you've hit that subscribe button. We are nearly there at the 90k, everybody. Thanks again, everyone. I will see you all in the morning with the Sunday morning update. That should be interesting.